If it can be imagined, it can be brought into reality. I remember hearing that somewhere or reading it somewhere many years ago, and I'm inclined to believe that it is right. Obviously, if we can imagine something, we have created it. Perhaps not as a blueprint, but as a vision, vague maybe, nebulous in our mind. And we've attributed some sort of goal or purpose with what we've imagined. Life has changed so enormously in the 86 years I've lived on planet Earth. When I was a kid, tradesmen, service people, used to turn up down the streets with horses and carts. There was the milkman, who always had a cart being drawn by a horse with milk on the cart. Same with the baker, the bread man. Same with the rag and bone man who would come along and take away rubbish and perhaps sharpen your knives. Same with the coal man who would come along with his 2 or 3 big Clydesdale horses pulling a few tons of coal on the back to dump a few hundredweight into the houses of various people. That was my childhood. Very few people had cars in those days. Very few people even had motorbikes. They would walk to work or catch the bus or the train, often the steam train, or ride a bike. How things have changed. Suddenly the world was full of cars. Everywhere, roads, superhighways being built to accommodate cars, internal combustion engines. Oil, gasoline rule the world. It's on the way out. You only have to look at some of the YouTube videos on electric cars to realise that. I was watching today a video about a car that's coming out very shortly. Next year it's supposed to be on the market. And it doesn't just have batteries. It has solar panels all over it. It's believed that if it was used in a sunny country, the battery would never have to be charged. The solar panels would do it. Can you imagine that years ago? Imagine how things are. They build tunnels today with huge exhaust stacks to take away the fumes from the internal combustion engines. That won't happen in the future. Tunnels won't need it. Electric cars don't put out those sort of emissions. Times are a-changing. And of course, now we know that the cars have sensors around them. The next thing on the agenda is self-steering cars, where you'll just get in and talk to a panel on the dashboard somewhere. The computer in the car will then work out where you are in the world and take you to your destination. Maybe the cars won't even need a steering wheel. Who knows? The days of the rev heads, the V8s, the burnouts, that'll be long gone. Wonder what they'll do. You know, a lot of people, a car's not just a means of transport, it's a means of affectation. Loud exhausts, engines that stick halfway out the bonnet to show that the person's a rev head. What do they do with those cars? There'll be museum pieces maybe. But the point is, whatever you can imagine, I'm coming all the way back now, you can imagine huge vehicles flying through space, which seem to have no method of propulsion, like this fabled flying saucers. If people can see flying saucers, and I believe they have been seen, but even if they haven't, they've been imagined. If they can be imagined, they can become reality. How they will be driven, What power sources they will use? Who knows? Who knows? Everything that can be imagined can come into being. It needs application. It needs the putting together of a lot of knowledge, a lot of engineering and technical skills. But my belief is that if you can imagine it, it can become a reality in the physical world. What do you think?